Good morning, City Council Administrator for Infrastructure and Mobility. I'm here today with Jeff Nelson, President of Nelson Construction Company, to give an update on the project in Southeast Seminole Heights. There's a particular interest in two of the streets that have had some work going on, Crest and Caracas. I can say, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder, that we did have a public hearing, a public meeting several weeks ago, very well attended. I personally feel that a lot of specific concerns were heard and are in the works or have been addressed by the team. But I'll let Mr. Nelson give you some more information, and certainly any questions you have, we'll answer those for you today. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I guess we'll start with the southwest section because that's where we first started the job. The Riverside Park, I know, and generally speaking, I know I told you last time that our plan was to be done and gone out of the southwest quadrant by May, which is 2 months out of our original schedule. We're still tracking for that, and knock on wood, maybe even a little bit before that. But with respect to the details, the Riverside Park, the sidewalk and curbs should be finished this week. We're painting the giant structure out there. That should be finished up early next week. The handrail should arrive and installed by next Friday, the 24th. We're putting in mully grass, which is a purpley, it's not my area of expertise is plantings, but it's a good-looking grass. And we've added some trees that we're gonna now plant on the 31st. Now, going up Crest, we brought a paver out there, tried to get that section paved early. He came out with his machines, he was ready to go, and then he had some mechanical difficulties or something, and decided not to, so he begged off of that. But on Crest, we are currently restoring the 100 and 200 blocks. We should be done with the restoration by the end of the month. And again, as I know I told you, we were planning on paving everything one time in May. We're gonna make an exception for Crest. We're trying to get that paved at the end of this month. Everything with the exception of Highland. So we're gonna pave up to Highland on both sides of Crest. The challenge we're having with Highland is there's that one structure on the northwest corner there. The engineers can't seem to agree on what they want us to build there. So we're just waiting on somebody we're just a contractor, tell us what to build. We'll build anything you want to. We're still waiting on an answer on what to build there. But once we get that a direction there, we will build that structure and then pave that intersection and get out of there. Now, Florida, one of the comments that was brought up a lot at the meeting was that because this has taken a lot longer to get feedback from the DOT than we expected, some of the asphalt wedges around the manhole lids may have done a little bit of settlement, a little bit of unraveling. We went out there and we addressed that within the week, a couple days after that meeting, so we fixed that. The good news is we've got some news from the DOT that they've approved the idea of what we're gonna do with some of the sidewalks and inlets. They've asked for some more information. We're gonna provide that to them. And our expectation is that we'll have an answer from them that enables us to start that work the first week of April. On Frierson, we're turning in the water main clearances. Well, Frierson is right here. We're turning in the water main clearances for DEP approval this week. That can take up to 30 days in some cases. It's out of our hands. It's a health department issue. We've been fortunate enough to be able to get them to turn around quicker. Our expectation is we've been doing that on this job. So our hope is to still have curb and the first lift of asphalt on Frierson by the end of April. Be done out there, except get everything cleaned up in anticipation for the final paving in May. On Central, we've got the first lift of asphalt and permeable pavers were completed at the beginning of March. We are currently finishing driveway aprons this week, and then at which point we'll be ready for Caracas. The pipe repairs, we expect to be completed with the pipe repairs coming down back off of Caracas and onto Central by the end of March. It's maybe a little earlier than we thought. Things are going well. We've got some good weather, some cooperation, so knock on wood, we're doing okay. So hopefully we're off of there by the end of March. We've already started building the road from the interstate out because we have access to an alley, so we've already started putting road base down. And once the pipe work is complete, we expect to put the curb and asphalt and get that installed in April. And once we get that built, we're gonna come in and pave, again, the entire southwest quadrant. On the southeast section, over here, Caracas to Taliaferro, now I believe this is where the gentleman spoke earlier lives. I thought we passed out flyers to go to work out there in December. I thought we started that road work in January, but regardless, I think our original schedule showed about 5 months of work out there. I think we're about 3 now, and we expect to be paved by the end of this month from the interstate out towards Nebraska where we'll be working. So that should, we should be out there. When we do hand out these flyers, I'm a little confused. We gotta do some homework here and figure out what happened, but, we put door hangers. We walk every street before we go to work out there. We put door hangers, we knock, we try to meet people, but the door hangers have information about phone numbers, emails, websites. We do monthly updates on our website. Mr. Marlowe, who was here earlier, he's been in contact with our staff through those phone numbers. We've met him personally at his house on at least 2 occasions, most recently about 3 weeks ago when he thought we knocked out power to his house, but it turns out the power was fed from the backside, so it had nothing to do with us. So he knows our staff well, we've talked to him, so I'm a little surprised to see him here when he's got Will's phone number. But we'll reach back out to him today and find out what his other concerns are. Nebraska is the next big intersection we've got to do. We're scheduled to start that work on April 10th. We think we're gonna be in there in 6 weeks. The DOT has told us, no, you're gonna be there at least 8 because it's a lot more complicated than you think, but we're gonna do our best. Hopefully get out of there in 6 weeks. We're loaded up and gonna put a lot of guys out there because we don't wanna inconvenience people any more than we have to, so that's our plan. And then, of course, going east of Nebraska on Caracas into the neighborhood, we expect to start that late May once we get done with the intersection on Nebraska. Moving up to the northeast quadrant, the city, there was some discussion about rebuilding the roadway in some neighborhoods from curb to curb where our assignment was to replace just pipe trench. If the pipe wasn't 20-foot deep, like the storm pipe is, we're just doing a water line where we're only going 3 foot deep. Our direction was to replace the patch at the top of the road. There were some residents up there who were trying to lobby the city to get them to rebuild curb to curb, but I guess that decision was made, no, we're just gonna replace the asphalt patch. So now we've scheduled our pavers and expect to pave that entire thing by the end of March. That's our plan, to pave that and be out of that area by the end of March. Now with respect to the northwest section here, Cherokee, we were able to put the permeable pavers in at the beginning of the month, and the south half is gonna be paved, we're trying by the end of this month. So we're wrapping up a bunch of stuff in the next 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of stuff will be wrapped up here. But of course, the next big area on that area is the central north of Hillsborough. We started that work on March 6th. We're installing the box culvert at Comanche and starting the water main work on Henry so that the Henry intersection will be ready. The water main will be moved so when we get there, we can lay a big giant box culvert right through there without any interruption. We will be starting water main work down at Hillsborough in front of Starbucks in the next 2 weeks, but we're gonna do that work at night to try to minimize the impact to the traveling public. And that's the status of our work. If we got any questions, I'll take them.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
I'll start with FDOT. So you said that they approved that for Florida Avenue, and then they requested some extra information, and you said, I didn't hear, it wasn't clear. You did provide that, and now you're just waiting on their response?
My project manager, we
Yes,
replied,
okay,
yes.
just double checking. And then what do you expect their response time to be for that? I mean, if it's not a really giant
They
change.
understand the need, the heat
Yeah.
that we're all feeling. I can't speak for
Okay.
DOT. I wish I could.
Yeah,
We just recently, were made aware of the submittal, so we've offered to reach out to the department directly and ask for some accelerated review time on that.
great, thank you so much. I have had, and actually, Ms. Duncan, while you're up here, I've had quite a few concerns, and even the gentleman who was here earlier was complaining about the fact about trash pickup, being told that street, Caracas, that they have to call every time they want their trash picked up, where we should come up with, we should have a better solution so that Mr. Marlowe and all the residents on Caracas can get their trash picked up. So I was wondering if you might be able to reach out to him.
We'll certainly see what kind of coordinations happened
Okay.
thus far, but we can certainly reach out to him directly. I don't know that I have his contact information.
He left it with us.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and I do
Okay.
as well, so.
Okay, great. We'll definitely talk to him, and I'll get with solid waste and for the whole street, make sure we have a plan while the construction's going on.
I appreciate that, and I would just possibly recommend, I know you've done a door knocker or a door hanger and then you've knocked. It might be time to go back to that stretch of Caracas and just sort of knock again, because if he's having problems with dirt in his water line, other people might have had that issue, or they might have these trash issues. That way we can kind of connect the dots between all of the trash folks and all of these, and just reach out.
I'm a little confused about the sand and the water line, because we didn't do any water line work
Okay.
anywhere near there. But it travels through the city's pipes from miles and miles and miles, so it could have
Yeah.
come from anywhere, but we've not done any water line work
Okay.
in front of his house.
Good to know. But just, yeah, maybe to take this time to kind of reach out to those folks midway through this, this particular tranche and just see if there are any concerns, because what we learned at that meeting was, there was a resident who, had a $600 water bill because, people were using his water. And I know that that's being handled right now, and we're in touch with the citizen, and that's going through the process, so. But sometimes it's just nice to reach out and make sure people aren't having any more issues.
Correct.
And then, I know you and I have talked about the northwest corner of Highland and the inflow there. You said you were waiting for, folks to make that determination. Who are we waiting on? Is it the city?
It's going back and forth between the design engineer, Wade Trim, and the city's stormwater department. So they keep going back and forth, and I'm just kind of a spectator in the tennis game.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for them to finally agree on what they want me to build, and I'll build. I'll build anything they want. They just need to tell me what it is.
Okay, and Ms. Duncan, is there any way we can,
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a little bit of a do loop, if anyone still remembers what those are, so I'll certainly look at that and, get with Mr. Nelson on the point of contact he's working with, and we'll see if we can accelerate that as well.
thank you, because that's the northwest corner of Highland, and they're just, that has, I know there's a sidewalk issue and there's an inlet issue, so there's a lot of stuff going on, so I know that, if it has your attention, it will
Well,
speed
you're trying
through.
to comply with ADA
Yes,
requirements.
yes.
When you got several existing points and trying to comply with cross slopes and everything else, it becomes, it's
Exactly.
a very big puzzle for smarter people than me to figure out.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to make sure we get that right, because making sure the sidewalks are accessible is incredibly important, while also getting the drainage done and all of that. So last I heard about West Crest Avenue, they were finding some settling issues that they couldn't finish paving. Mr. Stock had talked about some pipes that were.
The sanitary sewer was selling because of the unsuitable material that we moved.
Correct.
We moved 15,000 yards of clay, muck, or whatever it was.
Correct.
So I think we've resolved it. We've gone back and.
That is finished now.
Okay, and so that's the area that is about to get the pavement.
The final lift of asphalt.
Okay, and so when do we expect that final lift of asphalt?
Somewhere between the very end of March and beginning of April.
Okay, so the end of this month, perfect. And there is one thing I heard from the neighborhood last night, actually, about the concern with the sanitary conflict, the storm structure at the Comanche intersection, north of Hillsborough. Yes, possibly. You answered
Yes,
this in an email already, but I just.
Correct. Up at Comanche, we had a design issue that occurred with the location of the structure over the pipe. Working with engineer Wade Trim and the precast manufacturer Old Castle to get that box moved over about 2 feet. Looks like we have a design solution for that, and we'll be moving forward with it early next week.
Okay, because yeah, you said that folks were supposed to be out yesterday to try to figure it out. So,
Yeah.
so we aren't going to be looking at getting a whole new structure then?
No, we should be able to modify the existing structure, shift it south about 2 feet, and keep moving forward with our work.
Excellent. That was the concern that everyone was like, oh no, are we going to have to be waiting months for a new piece to be built? So thank you. We appreciate that. And like I said, I have heard from folks who have talked to Audrey is the new communications person, that they've had good experiences with her. So I wanted to send that feedback.
Fantastic.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we switched PR firms here about a month ago, and hopefully things are moving a little smoother than they had been.
Yes, that they are appreciative of her, and that so far the responses have been satisfactory. We still have a ways to go with some of that, but appreciate her attention and your attention. So thank you.
Councilman Maniscalco.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hurtak. You asked almost everything that I was going to ask or wanted to get updates on. I appreciate you being here and giving us another update. I'm glad to hear that Caracas will be, end of month, will be paved. You said end of month, early April. That's great.
East Caracas. East Caracas.
East
West Caracas, we're
Caracas.
still doing the pipe, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. East Caracas
Okay.
there towards Taliaferro. The gentleman that was here this morning.
Sure, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, because we've received a lot of complaints regarding missed trash pickup, which was already addressed. You've already addressed Crest, end of March, early April for the final asphalt there. And then next up is Nebraska, which is the next major section, April 10th. And then you had mentioned that at the Starbucks Central in Hillsborough, that you're going to be trying to do work at night in order to minimize the impact, correct?
That's our plan. It's, can't keep people from getting their coffee, so
Okay.
we'll
Yep.
get in and out of there.
All right, thank you very much. You, Councilwoman Hurtak, you know, I don't want to be duplicative, but she asked almost everything I wanted to ask, so thank you very much.
Any other, Councilman Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you to the neighborhood for the concerns and thank Mr. Nelson for hearing them and working together to resolve the problems. A lot of things that I've heard here today, you might be the one that's responsible for, but you have to go out to your subs and the individuals in government that you have no control, custody or control of. However, you made a lot of statements that you're going to be finished by March. March only has 2 weeks left, not
He's
2
got his,
years.
he's got his work cut out for
I
him.
know you guys, and one's got a lot of hair, the other one doesn't. But I'm going to hold you both responsible for it because that's how I am, just straightforward. Thank you guys for what you're doing, and thank your company, and thank the neighborhood for their concerns. They're going to have a much better place to live when it's complete.
It's gonna be
Thank you.
nice. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
I apologize, I forgot, when talking about trash, there was actually a couple of things. One was the trash collection, the other was that section of Caracas by Taliaferro, folks had complained about trash in yards again. And I know we had come up with a solution for, like buckets and all of that, so maybe to revisit that.
reinforce that. We'll
Like I
revisit
said, maybe, I think a lot of this stuff can be addressed if you do another quick door knock in that area, just kind of reconnect with folks. I think that would be very helpful.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.